Good morning, guys. Welcome to Sonoma Raceway. This is my first time ever driving on this track. I'm here with SpeedSF. Today has been a little chaotic. The chaos kind of started when I was on the way over here, and I forgot that they didn't have a gate fee here, and so I needed to stop. Thought I needed to stop at an ATM to pull out some cash for the gate fee, but the ATM that I stopped at was temporarily closed, which was a bummer. Had to go find a different one, and then, like I said, ended up not even needing the cash that I pulled out. The driver's meeting that I was in was scheduled to start at 7. I got here at 6:51, so cutting it a little bit close, but they didn't even get the registration process started until close to 7:15, 7:20. Yeah, when I get to my car to put on my track wheels, that's when I realized that the passenger's rear wheel has only 3 lug nuts on it. Must not have torqued one down properly after the Laguna Seca track day, and it came off at some point. So I see that, and I was like, well, is that my day? Am I done here? I had extras of the aftermarket that are wheel locks, and I also had my OEM one. So I was planning on maybe going home, about to call my mom and say, hey, can you run over to my house, pick them up, and then meet me halfway? And then I was like, well, there's a bunch of other cars here. I might as well ask around and see if anybody just happens to have the same. Because it turns out my lug nut size is pretty common. So I started asking around a couple people, and found a guy with a BMW, I think it's an E30, an older BMW. And so he had these, the open-ended lugs that go over the studs. And I tried it out. It's a different size bolt than my standard one, but the thread pitch is the same. And so tried it on, torqued it down. It's held up. I almost forgot to, because I drive here on just crappy front brake pads, and then I swap on my track pads. So while I was swapping my wheels, I almost forgot to swap out the track pads on the driver's front. That would have been pretty disastrous. So you actually joined me after my first session on track. I didn't have enough time this morning before the first session to record, a kind of an intro or one of these. I ended with a 2:06.4 as my fastest of that session. I've got a transponder on the front for the first time. I rented one through this group, and then I'm also running the hot lap on my phone, and they are confirmed to be basically identical times. They were identical to the 10th off at the 100th, which negligible for just time trials. I don't really care about shaving off hundredths of a second or being accurate to hundredths of a second. For the next session, I did the same thing that I did last track day. I don't know how I did it, but I've got my front tires mounted rotationally opposite of the rears, so I'm going to swap them cross-axle. I'm just about to do that right after I finish this up. The only other thing that's actually changed since my last track day was I did a transmission fluid flush yesterday. Ford usually from factory underfills the transmission on these cars for some reason. So I did a full 2-liter fluid flush of, I forget exactly what the thing is called. I can throw up the picture that I took of it here. And to be honest, no change in feel. That's probably because of my Cooler Works short shifter here, which is a full aftermarket assembly that's different. There's a YouTube video from, I think it's Ben Freedman Racing, in a Fiesta ST, pretty much bone stock other than tires, I believe, and he was able to do a 2-minute flat around here. I would like to beat that 2-minute flat if I could in this car, considering I'm not stock. But again, first time on the track, I got multiple sessions to figure it out. I think I can do it, so let's get ready for the next session.